Welcome back, my dear. The Enemy by Paul S. Buck, and this is the fifth part of explanation. Let me begin. If I am able, are you? Sadao asked. No, Hana said. But if you can do it alone. So Sadao told her that he was able to do so and asked that if Hana had the courage for it to help him. Hana replied in the negative, and then she added that if he could not do it by himself, then only she would help him. Sadao hesitated again. The strange thing is, he said, that if the man were whole, I could turn him over to the police without difficulty. I care nothing for him. He is my enemy. All Americans are my enemy, and he is only a common fellow. You see how foolish his face is, but since he is wounded. Explanation. Sadao was reluctant in throwing the man into the sea. He reasoned that if the man was well, he would hand him over to the police without any hesitation. He added that he was not concerned about the man and considered him to be an enemy, as he was an American. He commented that the injured man was a common man, as his face looked as if he was a foolish person. He wanted to say that he was not bothered about the injured man, but his only concern was that he was wounded, and as a doctor it was his duty to take care to look after a wounded person. You also cannot throw him back to the sea, Hana said. Then there is only one thing to do. We must carry him into the house. So in these lines, Hana is trying to say that if he could not throw him into the sea, then the second option was to carry him home for the treatment. Next paragraph. But the servants, Sadao inquired. We must simply tell them that we intend to give him to the police, as indeed we must, Sadao. We must think of the children and your position. It would endanger all of us if we did not give this man over as a prisoner of war. Certainly, Sadao agreed. I would not think of doing anything else. Explanation. Sadao was concerned that the servants would object, as they would shelter an enemy. Hana said that they would tell them that they intended to hand him over to the police over he recovered. She told him that they must do that. She added that they must consider their children's future and Sadao's position. If they did not hand over a prisoner of war to the police, they would be in danger. Sadao replied that certainly he would do so, and he did not think of doing anything else. Next paragraph. Thus agreed together, they lifted the man. He was very light, like a fowl that had been half starved for a long time until it is only feathers and a skeleton. So his arms hanging, they carried him up to the steps and into the side door of the house. This door opened into a passage, and down the passage they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. Fowl here means cock or hen. And now explanation. Sadao and Hana lifted the injured man into the house. He was very light. The writer compares his weight to that of a hen that has not been fed for a long time, and its body loses flesh and reduces into mere feathers and a skeleton. The man's arms were hanging, and the duo carried him up to the steps into the side door of the house. The door opened into a passage, and they went down the passage towards an empty bedroom. Next paragraph. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father, and since his death it had not been used. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man, who would never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. Hana went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk, and the lining was pure white silk. And now explanation. The bedroom belonged to Sadao's father, and it had not been used after his death. The injured man was laid on the thick mat on the floor. The writer describes the room. Everything in the room was Japanese, as Sadao's father disliked foreign things. Hana went to the cupboard in the wall and took out a soft quilt. She resisted putting it on the injured man. The quilt was made of silk, had a flowery print on it, and the lining was made of pure white silk. Next line. He is so dirty, she murmured in distress. Yes, he had better be washed. Sadao agreed. If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him. I cannot bear for you to touch him, she said. We shall have to tell the servants he is here. I will tell Yumi now. She can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him. Here distress means sadness. And now explanation. She was sad. Hana was sad and spoke slowly that the man was very dirty. Sadao said that the man had to be washed first. Sadao asked Hana to get hot water so that he could wash this man. Hana did not want that Sadao should touch the man. She said that they would ask the servant to wash the injured man. She would call Yumi, the name of the servant, to leave attending the children for a few minutes and wash him. So she is a babysitter, you can say, the maid servant to look after her children. Sadao considered a moment. Let it be so, he agreed. You tell Yumi and I will tell the others. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. It was faint, but it was there. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. The heart too was yet alive. Pallor means unhealthy pale appearance. Stoop means to bend forward, and pulse means heart beat. And now explanation. So Sadao thought for a moment and then agreed. He agreed with Hana. He asked her to call Yumi, the maidservant, while he would call the other servants. Before he could go out, he saw the injured man's face. It was so pale that he stopped. He bent forward and felt his heart beat to see if he was alive. The heartbeat was very faint, but it was there. Then Sadao placed his hand on the man's heart to feel it. It was also beating. Sadao concluded thus that the injured man was still alive. So for this video up to here only. In the next video I will continue. Thank you so much.